Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha, Kwadash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders, and also double honors to the bishops as well. I also want to give a double honors to my elder apostle and bishop of this camp, Aharawan Ban Yasharala, and Kanaksan Ban Yasharala. Also, Shalom to the sincere Akim pushing this truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lion's Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out of a lesson. This is an impromptu, didn't have anything planned, but I'll be coming out of Joel chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 3, right at my point, and then read down. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And it says here, you know what? Verse 2, Salaki. I'm just starting at the top. Never mind. And again, this was the Lord showing his terribleness unto our people. His judgment. And he's going to show that again to 2/3 of our people, but also to Babylon, in which we are in. So without further ado, let me just start at the top just to complete the thought. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. So, just like then, guess what? We're still blowing the trumpet in Zion today amongst our people. You know what I'm saying? Because we still are the Lord's people. We still his holy mountain. And it says, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. So, and with that, this is let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. So that means here too, and right along with our people, tremble, be afraid. Why? Because the day of the Lord is at hand. The day of the Lord Yahweh is at hand. It is nigh, it is close. Verse 2, it says a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not ever been the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So the level of judgment that the Lord is going to bring to the earth, and especially Babylon, here where we're at, this judgment is going to be so great and so catastrophic that it has not been any judgment like this. Neither will it be any judgment after. So the Lord finna make one final judgment, and it's going to be the greatest judgment that has ever come to the earth. The Lord destroyed the earth with water the first time, and that was a very, very great judgment. This time he's destroying it with fire. He's not going to destroy the whole entire earth in totality and just do away with the whole earth, but the judgment that the Lord is going to bring to the earth is going to cause the whole earth to suffer. And the judgment that the Lord is going to use is these ICBMs, these intercontinental ballistic missiles, with nuclear payloads, with multiple warheads in one arrow or one missile, whatever you want to call it. And that judgment is going to be so great that it is going to cause, it says here, but I'm still going to, roughly paraphrase. It's going to cause the earth to reel to and fro like a drunkard out of its place and shake violently. That's going to cause earthquakes. That's going to cause tsunamis. That's going to cause all kind of worldwide devastation. Let's continue. And that level of judgment, it ain't once that judgment passes, it ain't going to be another judgment like that to ever come ever again in the history of man. Let's continue. Verse 3. A fire devoureth before them, and a flame. So let me read it again. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. And it's talking about the Lord's judgment. It's talking about the ICBMs. A flame devoureth before them. They're going to be shot up into the heavens. They're going to be shot in an arcing fashion. So they're going to go up out of the atmosphere and come back down. And guess what that's going to do? That's going to cause we're going to say a heat shield, because if you've ever seen like re-entry of anything or something that comes into the atmosphere, it naturally catches fire a little, or it has that heat shield around it where it starts to glow. Well, guess what? That's what it's talking about. But also in what I forgot the word I was finna use. But anyways, also this is talking about the destructive power that it's going to have. These ICBMs is going to have as well. That's why it says a flame devoureth before them, because the Lord is going to use fire, nuclear fire, and the power of one nuclear warhead exploding. It's about 10 million degrees. That's about what, 5 to 8 times, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 10 times hotter than the core of the sun. And most definitely hotter than the surface. But nonetheless, it says again, the fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burneth. That's going to be how these missiles be the Lord's swords being bathed in heaven. They're going to be propelled up into the heavens. That's why it says, and behind them a flame burneth. These ICBMs, the weapons of the Lord's indignation, are going to be shot. Real quick, let's go here. Let's go to come on, Psalms, if I'm not mistaken. Might be Job. I think it's Job. I'm saying Psalms, but I think it's Job. Yeah, it's Job. But let's go on and get to it real quick. This is Job 20 and 25. It says, "It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glistering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him." So this is talking about a weapon that is being shot from a missile silo, from inside of a device that guides the missile up and then towards its trajectory, its target. It is drawn and it cometh out of the body. It's talking about these missile silos. And the glistering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. And that's going to cause this devil to be very afraid, and other people as well. But let's continue. Back at Joel chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing shall escape." So the destructive power, the fuel, the flame that's burning behind them, that's going to propel the Lord's the weapons of indignation. It says the land is as the Garden of Eden, meaning that right now we see everything happening the way it is, but then it says after them, or should I say behind them, a desolate wilderness. That's destruction, meaning once they hit, everything gonna be destroyed in Babylon, right here in Babylon. It's like, just imagine the Garden of Eden being a beautiful, sprawling, bustling place. Well, guess what? Let's say a great catastrophe or something catastrophic hits that. What happens? It is now desolate and destroyed and laid to waste. That's the same thing that's going to happen to Babylon. This modern day Babylon, because it didn't happen to ancient Babylon. It's talking about today's Babylon, aka America. It is what it is. And it says, "Yea, and nothing shall escape them." The only way you're going to be able to escape this judgment of Yahweh Bashim Ashai is if you turn to him. Turn to him while he can be sought. Seek the Lord early while he can be found. Right now, he can still be very much found. But that door is rapidly closing. At some point, he's not going to be found. If you have not sought him before he brings his judgment, you're not going to be able to seek him when he's bringing his judgment. The time to prepare is now. And the only people that are escaping said of such perils are the remnant of Yasha Allah. The 144,000, the 1/3 men, women, and children that truly believe in and on Yahweh Bahashim Yahshua, they're the ones that are going to escape. Everybody else that is turned a deaf ear, they going to get left here. And these other nations that wasn't smart enough to leave and go back to their own country before the Lord bring his judgment, they going to be here too. Being part of this missile soup. The Lord sweeping this place with the besom of destruction. Let's continue. It says the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. So the appearance of these missiles, when they show up, when the Lord will finally allow them to be bathed in heaven, it's like the appearance of them is like of horses. Like just imagine a bunch of horses, or imagine a whole army of horses with horsemen riding upon those horses. So shall they run, meaning they're going to go right on their trajectory, right on their path. They're not going to explode in the air. They're not going to short circuit. They're not going to be banging and bumping into other swords, or should I say missiles. It's not going to happen. They're going to go on their path. Let's continue. It says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, so shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. So not only are these missiles going to fly, people going to hear them coming. They're going to see them and hear them. And missiles have a sound when they are launched, because of the propulsion system. It makes that sound. Now just imagine you have a whole lot of those. It's going to be like an army of horsemen in chariots. Horsemen's riding in chariots, I should say. The horse and chariot thing. Like on the top of mountains. That's noisy. Just imagine a whole army coming across or through a mountain. You're going to hear that. You're going to see that. And it says, again, like the noise of chariots on the mountain, on the tops of mountains, shall they leap. So they're gonna fly to their destination. Their destination is right here in Babylon, America. It is what it is. I'm trying to censor, but I'm not finna censor. I'm finna speak the truth like the Lord want me to. So it is what it is. So people, it's gonna make a noise, and it says, a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble. If you've ever lit a fire and it is burning wood and or charcoal, you can hear that. If you listen closely, you can hear the fire burning the wood and or the charcoal. You can hear it. And it sounds like sounds like wind. That's the best way I can explain it. It sounds like wind, especially when you blow on it. It'll make that little no, yeah. Well, that's how fire sounds. If you listen to it, it sounds like that. Let's continue. And it says, as a strong people set in battle array. So again, these missiles are going to be right on their path. It says, before their face, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. So before their face, when the people see these ICBMs coming and hitting where they live and where they're at and in the vicinity, it says people are going to be much pain. Meaning people are going to be afraid. And they're going to suffer pain too, because they're going to finish with all they living. Depending on where they're at, from the initial epicenter explosion to out to the blast wave, anything at the epicenter is immediately vaporized. It's gone immediately. But everything outside of that, that's when you go to getting into Ezekiel, where the Lord says, "I'm gonna leave you here and melt you." Blast wave, blast radius, shock wave, all that, flattening everything, burning all the elements up, even the air. That's how powerful these things are, but that is also how deadly the Lord's judgment is, because of manifold wickedness on this earth, committed by 2/3 of our people, but also mainly because of this devil. He's the one in power. He is the one that has pushed the wicked vibration around the four corners of the earth. He is the catalyst for wickedness. And anything or anyone following behind him is going to suffer his judgment. And the Lord says he's going to burn this devil. And anybody that's following him going to get burnt too. Let's continue. Verse 7. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways. And they shall not break their ranks. So this says they're going to run like mighty men. They're going to climb the walls, meaning they're going to overwhelm defenses. They're going to go through defenses. They're going to get past defenses. Ain't no anti-air, ain't no nothing. They're not gonna be shot down. They're not gonna be damaged. They're gonna climb the wall like men of war, meaning once the Lord allow it to happen, it's coming and there ain't no stopping it. And it says, and they shall march everyone on his ways and shall not break their ranks, meaning they're gonna be they're gonna be in formation. They're gonna come in their trajectory like they're supposed to. And they're not going to break formation. They're going to be bumping into each other, short circuiting, blowing up, causing all kind of other missiles to fly off and go other places. No, that ain't going to happen. They ain't finna be falling victim to EMP attacks and none of that. Let's continue. Verse 8, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So there you go. None shall thrust another. As I said before, they're not going to be bumping into each other, hitting each other, knocking each other off trajectory and path. They're not going to be doing any of that. It says they're going to walk everyone in its path. Whatever trajectory that has been logged into those ICBMs, guess what? It's going to go to that trajectory. It's going to go to that target, that point. And it says when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So they're not going to be getting shot out of the air. They're not going to be getting blown up. Verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. An overwhelming offense. An overwhelming judgment. That's what the Lord is saying. These missiles are going to be overwhelming. They're going to run to and fro in the city, meaning destruction everywhere, annihilation everywhere, obliteration everywhere. In Babylon, America, of course. They're going to climb upon houses. They're going to be destroying houses. They're going to be coming in. They're going to be coming from every direction. You ain't going to be able to run. If you have not been serving the Lord in truth and sincerity, you have not for real been down with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. For those of our people who are not, they ain't going to have nowhere to go. Esau ain't going to have nowhere to go. Verse 10. It says, the earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So when these missiles hit, they're going to throw up so much dust and dirt and soil up into the atmosphere, mushroom clouds. That's why it says here the earth is going to quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. This is literally going to shake the earth completely. And it's gonna throw up all kind of dust and soil and radioactive fallout that's gonna cover up the sun and the moon and the stars. So the sky is gonna get covered up. What you think that's gonna cause if the sun can't penetrate and get through? If the sun is not here, everything instantly becomes cold. Nuclear winter. So that's a chain reaction judgment. Because again, if they hit, when they hit, guess what? It's going to shake the earth. So guess what? Any island places that are susceptible to monsoons and tsunamis, that's going to shake it. They're going to drown them. Guess what? That's another chain reaction judgment. I played this video game called Final Fantasy VII. The original Final Fantasy VII it's this little jewel you can put in your armor or your accessories or your weapon, and it's called materia. And they had this one blue one called added effect. And you could pair it with any materia that was good for offense and defense if you wanted a certain effect. Like if you equipped a fire materia and it's linked to the added effect material, guess what? That fire material is going to do added damage. So this is going to be added effect. Let's see. Salakia. This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 20. Salakia. This is Isaiah chapter 24 verse 20. It says, "The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again." That's just talking about when the Lord bringing his judgment. When these 200,000, these 200 million missiles hit Babylon, America, it's going to shake the earth. And it's going to cause it to reel to and fro like a drunkard and shake out of its place like a cottage. You ever seen a cottage? Let's see a strong wind come blowing through. That cottage just get blown down like it ain't nothing. It just whatever, a mudslide or whatever. It just get torn down like it's made out of paper. That's what's going to happen when the Lord brings his judgment to the earth. And it's coming, and it's coming. And it's best to get right with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai now. Seek him while he can be found, because he ain't going to be found in that great and terrible day. He ain't going to be found by nobody who didn't seek him while they yet had a chance. So, yeah, this was, I ain't going to say it was a quick lesson, but this was a lesson impromptu. I ain't have nothing planned. But with that, Shalom.